Yesterday, we released the teardown video of Lenovo YOGA CC 130W GaN Charger. But another Lenovo brand, XiaoXin, also made a 100W GaN Charger. It also has dual USB-C ports. So let's take a look at this one. The packaging design is very young. There is a small brand logo here. The important features and specification are on the back. Small and portable, double USB-C, replaceable cable, high power and folding pins. Model is XiaoXin 100G. Maximum output for single port is 100 watts. Maximum output for dual port is 65 watts and 35 watts. The manufacturer comes from Honor Electronic. Now let's open the package. There are a charger, cable, and manual inside. The length of cable is 1.5 meters. Use ChargerLab Power ZKT002 to test. The maximum output is 100 watts. The USB standard is USB 2.0. Now let's take a look at the charger. The charger shell is combined with two U-shaped plastic plates, and the two parts of the shell are processed with shiny and matte respectively. The most attractive thing is still the brand logo, simple and unique. The charger adopts foldable pins, easy to carry and save space. That's two USB-C ports with C1 and C2 logos printed next to the ports. But when you charge one device, any port can support 100 watts, which is very convenient. Take a look at the specification. Yep, almost the same as the box label. The charger's actual size is 70, 69, and 29 mm, and the weight is 253 grams. Take out the Apple 96W charger again to compare. It's still smaller than Apple. Let's use ChargerLab Power ZKT002 to test the protocol. USB-C supports Apple 2.4a, QC2, QC3, FCP, PD3, and 5 fixed PDOs, 5 volts 3 amp, 9 volts 3 amp, 12 volts 3 amp, 15 volts 3 amp, 20 volts 5 amp. The two ports are the same. This charger adopts high-frequency QR architecture. As the power is up to 100 watts, PFC circuit is also added. It also adopts wide voltage output of switching power supply synchronous rectification and two protocol chips which control two USB-C outputs. So let's start from the input end to know what's inside. This time we still need a cutting machine. Only to slowly cut the shell can we take out the module inside. After opening the shell, we can see a layer of graphite heatsink and the pure copper heatsink, which can further enhance the heat dissipation effect. There is also an insulating tape on the top heatsink. We can also see lots of glue inside for reinforcement and heat dissipation. There is an insulating plate between the bottom heatsink and the motherboard for isolation. You can clearly see the charger has 3 parts after cleaning up the thermoconductive glue. The first part is the input filter and PFC circuit. The middle part is the switching power supply circuit. And the third part is the secondary buck boost output circuit. A classic multi-port 100 watts fast charger. A small board is welded vertically at the input end. Remove the small board. There is a 6R8 inductor on the back. There are 2 level common mode chokes, safety X capacitors, film filter capacitors, and filter inductors on the front. Small common mode choke and filter inductor are wrapped by heat shrink tube for protection. This is a time delay fuse. There are 2 rectifier bridges which can share the heat. Here is the PFC boost inductor. The 2 electrolytic capacitors for high voltage filtering in the middle are welded on the small board. The top is covered with a plastic shell for insulation. Remove the small board. The back is the PFC boost switch tube and the rectifier tube. PFC boost controller is OnBright OB6566 and is the first time to use on small GaN fast charger. PFC boost inductor uses RM8 magnetic core. PFC boost switch tube adopts Oriental semiconductor with extremely low switching loss. A PFC rectifier tube is next to it from Win Semiconductor. 2 electrolytic capacitors for high voltage filtering are from Guanquan, a well-known brand. On the other side is the transformer, 2 solid capacitors for output filtering with an isolation board between them. In addition, there is an output filter inductor on the right. The power supply capacitor of master control chip comes from Hong Kong Manyu. The master control chip of switching power supply adopts ON Semiconductor NCP1342, which most GaN chargers use nowadays. The primary high voltage switch moist tube adopts Innoscience IN650D02, packaged by DFN8x8. Here are 2 optocouplers, and this is 4 Y capacitors, 2 in series and 2 in parallel. The synchronous rectifier chip is the latest DK5V100R05M from Dongke Semiconductor. Seems the first time to see it. This chip has built-in controller, driver, and ultra-low 5 milliohm internal resistance moist tube, etc. The integration level is quite high, which helps to reduce the size of the charger. Here are 2 solid capacitors for synchronous rectifier output filtering, also from Manyu. Here is the filter inductor. The output end is equipped with a secondary boost and buck small board. The OnBright OB2613 portable chip used by both ports are on the back. We also found when single port is inserted, it will be switched by the moist tube on the right. When dual ports are inserted at the same time, C1 port can adjust the voltage by itself. C2 port can use the synchronous buck boost circuit on the right side for secondary buck boost. And finally got 65 and 35 watts totally for dual ports. The synchronous buck boost circuit controller adopts South Chip SC8703, packaged by QFN 4x4, and integrates built-in drive. It supports 2.7 volts to 21 volts wide voltage and many protection functions. Here are 4 alpha and omega semiconductor NMOS tubes for outputting synchronous rectification and buck boosting. The front of the small board has a buck boost inductor, filter inductors, capacitors, and USB receptacle port. The 2 solid filter capacitors are both 25 volts, 220 microfarad. Okay, that's all for our today's teardown. All in all, this charger looks unique and focuses on portable and dual-port fast charging. In addition, the power is also enough to charge different devices. We found there are multi-layer heat conduction materials on the outside of the charger module. Secondly, the components come from well-known brands in the industry, very clear. So what do you think about this charger? Leave your comments below. The last thing, if you want to see more content like this and haven't subscribed to us, you can click the subscribe button or visit our website chargerlab.com. Your support will be our motivation. I'll see you soon.